Southeastern Louisiana has a reservoir called Poverty Point. I can't help but wonder if there's a certain social stigma attached to recreation there. Or maybe it's recreation. This morning I visited the Vicksburg National Battlefield. I don't think anyone who visits a Civil War battlefield can help but be impressed by the monuments erected by northern states. Much more impressive than the monuments of Confederate states. Undoubtedly that has something to do with the loss of the Civil War, not to mention the poverty level of many southern states for many years afterwards. I have to say that I was talking to a guy in the battlefield, and it struck me that where the Civil War is concerned, Yankees have the same attitude as New York Yankee fans. In other words, they don't think that money really means anything. I'm sure that's a bit of a jaded viewpoint, and I absolutely am not unhappy that the North won the Civil War. But I guess it's like the historian Shelby Foote said one time. I think he was asked by Charlie Rose, and Rose asked him if had he lived during the Civil War, if he would have fought with the North. And Foote said something to the effect that he would have probably been just like the dumb old boys from the South back then, that he would have probably fought for the South even if the reasons were all wrong. I'm not sure if I completely agree with Mr. Foote, but I certainly sympathize.
I wish I hadn't said that.
You know, this sound, or this song with Johnny Cash, I think most known for Hank Snow's version. Not only does it apply to this particular trip, it sort of applies to my job covering NASCAR for the last 19 years too. I don't know, but up there ahead it looks like
some days when you tour, it does kind of feel that way, like
clock dusting plane or something.
I don't want to go anywhere. And somebody says, "Oh, did you come to my town and did you see the something something, or did you eat it?" So
that's Elizabeth Cook, by the way.
I ate at the Wendy's by the interstate, though I was working.
This requires a bit of explanation, but I kid you not. The Sam's Club in Monroe, Louisiana, has outdoor restrooms. Now, they're not outhouses. That would be a cheap joke. And after all, I'm from South Carolina, not exactly the south of France. But anyway, it's because the place is being enlarged. I don't know why I turned the flip camera back on again. I guess it's just because I like listening to Neil Young sing country music. I should have taken pictures of downtown Monroe. It's a really Huey Long looking city. It has a lot of old buildings, and you can almost see the kingfish walking through the streets. I'm aware of the fact that Long drew the bulk of his power from northern Louisiana, where he grew up. know, I haven't been to New Orleans since I was in high school. I kind of wish that I'd gone back before Katrina to see it in its full glory. That's Waylon Jennings. This is a duet. I actually have this album somewhere. I don't remember whether it's a CD or an album or a cassette or what, but I know Neil Young's cut a couple of country albums, and I love both of them. Every southern state ought to have a town named Calhoun. You know, it's nice to soundtrack trips. I mean, you wouldn't want to listen to bluegrass when you're driving through the middle of New York City, and you wouldn't want to listen to Springsteen if you were going through the Blue Ridge Mountains. Of course, I'm in the South, but it'll soon start turning into the West. And I guess my two favorite states besides my native South Carolina are Texas and Kentucky. And it's sort of for opposite reasons, really. I admire Texans, their pride, and I admire Kentuckians, their feistiness. But I sort of admire Neil Young and admired Waylon Jennings for both, I suppose. This is going to be a long video today, the way I keep turning this flip cam on. I hope the dialogue's good, because it must get kind of old just watching cars on the highway. This, of course, would be the Trans-Louisiana Highway, aka I-20. When that heat hit the blankets, they were looking for love at second sight. Just staring in each other's eyes, finding it anymore than love. This is my leisurely day. I drove hard all day yesterday. I can piddle around a little bit because I got till tomorrow sometime to get to Pawlessfest. They were bound for each other like two blankets laying on. Lincoln Parish. Don't have counties in Louisiana. He had an 84 International and 2 kids. He left back home with his wife. Lord have mercy. Do you realize that Love's truck stops in Louisiana have their very own casinos? It's a wonder anybody ever gets to Texas coming across this state. But they're not going to take my money this time, I'll promise you that. Well, headed into Texas. 173 miles to Dallas. That's all the way across Louisiana. When I was a kid, I had relatives in Texas. And every time we drove out here, we didn't even think about flying. It seemed like that we went across Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and when we got to the Texas line, we were about halfway there. Now that's exaggerated. And it doesn't seem so far now that I'm older. A segment of my family settled in Killeen and Copper's Cove because my father's Uncle Cass retired from the Army at Fort Hood.
I live in a house on the sunny road. Cinnamon love won't tell me where to go. Cinnamon love.
You can always tell when you're entering a state because of the way station. Well, the way stations aren't bigger in Texas. The roads are not any smoother in Texas. I'm glad that Texas reminded me. I just passed a sign that said, "Observe warning signs, Texas law." I never noticed them, just like showing benign neglect toward road signs in other states.
Where did you see me?
I'll have to drive friendly the Texas way from here on out.
The times when I was happy, but here's a toast to my
Nothing could be better in Texas than a nice Hank Thompson song.
In the can or in the bottle, oh bartender, bring it to me.
I'm headed
On tap, in the can
between Tyler and Greenville, Texas, then on to Sherman, from Sherman over to Gainesville, and Pawlessfest.
I'll have to remodel and learn to live.
I've often said that Texas is the only state that lets me drive as fast as I want to. Believe it or not, there's a lot of two-lane roads in Texas where the speed limit is 70.
Is on tap, in the can or in the bottle. Oh bartender, bring it to me. There's no place to go and hide myself. The only sanctuary I see is on tap, in the can or in the bottle. Oh bartender, bring it to me. On tap, in the can or in the bottle. Oh bartender, bring it to me.
Well, he ain't choosy at all.
Well, my trip odometer just crossed 1,000 miles, entering Sherman, Texas. I've switched from Sirius XM to 95.3 the range, but it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Sherman to Gainesville. So, music, the live kind, will take over from satellite radio, and the range beginning tomorrow.